Hi everyone! Today's story talks about a very special person. This person comes from a Hispanic heritage, and they have a hard time remembering something important about where they came from. What it looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like, and most importantly, where it is and what it is. So, in the month of October, we celebrate people who come from a Hispanic heritage. And this celebrates and honors a ton of different looking, different acting, different sounding people. Because those that come from a Hispanic heritage are unique and special and important. And most valuably, they're everywhere, which is so amazing. And because people who have a Hispanic heritage are everywhere, they all have different stories, different traditions, different clothes that they wear, different experiences, things that they remember, things that they do, things that they sing or dance or even read and write, things that they go through on a day-to-day basis, even what kind of school they go to. Today's story, we're going to follow around a friend named Lola, who comes from a Hispanic heritage. And she is having a hard time, like I said before, remembering all of the special things about where she came from. Would you like to join me on the journey of figuring out what her island is about? What the food looked like and tasted like, what it smelled like, what people wore, the animals there, and even more. All right, let's get started. Grab your comfy pillows and let's get started on story time. Today's story is called Island Born. And that's our friend Lola. Hi, Lola. Every kid in Lola's school was from somewhere else. Hers was a school of faraway places. May was from a city so big it was like its own country. India and Camilla were from a stony village at the tippy top of the world. Mateo lived in a desert so hot even the cactuses fainted. Nu was born in a jungle famous for its tigers and its poets. And Lola was from the island. Hi, Chuck. You want to say hi? Oh, you're over here. You want to say hi to everybody? So, when Lola's teacher, Miss Obie, told the class, please draw a picture of the country you are originally from, your first country, and bring it in tomorrow, everyone was super excited. I'm going to put pyramids in it, said Dahlia. And I'll draw a canal this long, said Franklin. There's going to be a mongoose in mine, Nelson yelled. Nelson always yells. Everyone was talking about their drawings. Everyone but Lola. Uh-oh. Lola, you see, loved to draw, but she had left the island when she was just a baby. So she didn't remember any of it. Lola raised her hand. She hated raising her hand almost as much as she hated Nelson's yelling. Miss, what if you don't remember where you are from? What if you left before you could start remembering? No problema, Miss Obie said. Are there people around you who do remember? Like my whole neighborhood, Lola said, and they're always talking about the island. Well then, Miss Obie started, maybe, but Lola finished her sentence. I should talk to everyone who does remember the island. I should draw from their memories. That's a very good plan, Lola, said Miss Obie with a smile. Lola started feeling better about the assignment, but then she saw all the other kids chatting excitedly about what they were going to draw, and it made her sad. Everybody was remembering their first home, even Nelson, who forgot everything. Nelson even forgot his name once, for like an hour. Lola had always wanted to remember the island, but no matter how hard she tried, she never could. It was like a familiar word just at the tip of your tongue. But instead of a word, it was an entire world. Lola closed her eyes and tried to recall anything about the island, but nothing came up. She kept trying all through the school day to help her focus. She put her fingers on the side of her head like her abuela's psychic sometimes did. She's right here trying to remember. "Are you okay?" her cousin Leticia asked as they walked home together. "I have to draw a picture of the island," Lola explained. "But I was just a baby when we left. Prima, you have to help me." "I don't remember a lot either, except for the bats. They were as big as blankets, and they used to chase after me at night." "Blanket bats?" Lola pulled out her notebook and began to sketch. "Look how big they are." "Oh, this person looks a little scared." Leticia stopped Mrs. Bernard, who always sold them crispy empanadas after school. "Mrs. Bernard, what do you remember most about the island?" "Why, music, of course. The whole country is like the inside of a guiro, like the inside of a drum." "You mean like a neighborhood?" Lola asked. The neighborhood had so much music in it, it was like a radio with the dial broken off. On the island, there's even more music. There's even music in the air. And everyone is always dancing. Even in their sleep, people dance. Sleep dancing, Lola sketched. These people are dancing in their sleep. Leticia led Lola into the barber shop where her brother Jonathan owned. "Lola has to do an assignment about the island. She needs to know what you remember the most about it." "Huepa," said Jonathan, laughing. "The agua de coco. How wonderful it tastes when you drink it right from the coconut. Mr. Rodriguez sat up in the chair, and the mangoes, that are the size of your head, so sweet." "They make you want to cry?" Lola said. She loves mangoes. "That's it exactly. Coconut water and mangoes. Yummy." Sometimes when people are really happy, they have happy tears. We can have sad tears or happy, yummy mango tears. Just like Mr. Rodriguez. "How much color there is," said the woman waiting with her son. "Colorful cars, colorful houses, flowers everywhere. Even the people are like a rainbow. Every shade ever made." "Like us in here?" Lola said. "Even more color," the woman said. "Agua, mango heads, rainbow people." Lola was trying to keep up. "The island sounds so beautiful. Why did we even leave?" "Well, it isn't all beautiful," the woman's son said. "The heat is like 5 bullies." The oldest barber muttered, "And other things." Like what? Lola wanted to ask, but the oldest barber had already turned away. Look how colorful and beautiful the island looks. In the lobby of their building, the cousins ran into Mr. Murr. The superintendent, Leticia, called out, "Hey, Mr. Murr, can you tell us what you most remember about the island?" "Nobody cares about that old stuff," Mr. Murr grumbled. "Just be glad you live here." "Don't listen to him," Leticia said. "Keep going and call me later if you need any help." "Okay, I will," Lola said. When Lola got into the elevator, she put her fingers on her temples and closed her eyes. "Island," she called, like it was a cat. "Island, island, island." But like the cat, the island did not come to her mind. She was trying to remember. At home, Lola found her abuela at the kitchen table trying to finish a puzzle. Abuela loved puzzles. "Abuela, I'm supposed to draw a picture of the island for school, but I don't remember it." Why don't I remember it?" "Hija, you were just a baby when you left." "But the other kids remember. Just because you don't remember a place doesn't mean that it's not in you." "Will you tell me what you remember most?" Lola asked. "Of course. What I remember most is the beaches, hija. Our beaches are poetry. You know when you hear your favorite poem? That's how it is to be on our beaches. Fish jump from the waves into your lap, and at sunset sometimes the dolphins will come out of the water and bow goodnight. And up north where I'm from, there are even whales in the surf." Beach poetry, dolphins, surfing whales. Lola sketched as fast as she could. Lola's mother stuck her head in from the kitchen. "Hee-ha, what I remember most is the hurricane that hit the island right after you were born. Like the biggest, baddest wolf of all, it huffed and puffed and blew thousands of houses into the sky." "Where were we?" Lola asked. Her eyes were wide. "We were hiding under the bed is where we were," Abuela said. "That's right," said her mother. "And you know what? You never cried once. You were such a brave little girl." "I wish I could remember that," Lola sighed. "Well, it happened," her mother said. "You might not remember the island, but it remembers you." "You should really talk to Mr. Murr," Abuela suggested. "He knows more about the island than almost anyone." "We tried asking him," Lola said, "but he didn't want to help. Mr. Murr can be a little grouchy sometimes. Let me talk to Mr. Murr. Mrs. Murr, I bet we can get him to help." Abuela called downstairs and shouted at Mrs. Murr, who then shouted at Mr. Murr. The old people were always shouting at each other. That's how they talked. Maybe Nelson was an old person in training. "Go on down," Abuela said. Mr. Murr said he would try to help. Lola was a little nervous, but that didn't stop her from knocking on the super's door. Mr. Murr let her in. "Look how big you've gotten, Lola. Mr. Murr is in his workshop. Go right on in." Mr. Murr looked up from the contraption he was fixing. "Your grandma says you've been interviewing people about the island." Lola nodded nervously. "Yes, sir. It's for a class assignment." "What have they told you?" She flipped through her sketches. Bat blankets, more music than air, fruit that makes you cry, beach poems, and a hurricane like a wolf. I see, Mr. Murr said. "So no one told you about the monster?" "The monster?" Lola's eyes got wide. She shook her head. "No." "Even those who know don't always ask about him." Mr. Murr turned toward the old, worn map he had of the island. "Our island had always been a beautiful place. It was when I was your age, and it is today. But even the most beautiful places can attract a monster. A long time ago, long before you were born, that's exactly what happened. A monster fell upon our poor island." For once, Lola's pencil didn't move. "It was the most dreadful monster anyone had ever seen. The whole island was terrified, and no one could defeat it. It was just too strong. For 30 years the monster did as it pleases. It could destroy an entire town with a single word, and make a whole family disappear by looking at it." Lola's curly hair was uncurling with fear. Did you see the monster, Mr. Murr?" "Yes, all the time." "Were you scared?" "We were all very scared." Look at the monster, friends. Everyone's running away from it. Even the bats. And the dolphins, too. It's a very scary monster. Lola's heart was pounding really fast. "So what happened next, Mr. Murr?" "What should always happen to monsters. Heroes rose up. Strong, smart young women just like you, Lola. And a few strong young men. They got tired of being afraid and fought the monster. What a really big, titanic battle that was. The whole island shook from their struggle. The monster tried all of its evil tricks, but in the end, the heroes found the monster's weakness and banished it forever." That means it went away forever. There it goes, back in the water. Look at all of these people standing up against. "Wow," Lola whispered. "What happened to the heroes?" "No one really knows. It was so long ago." Mr. Murr took off his glasses and sighed. "Anyway, you should get back upstairs. It's getting close to dinner." "Thank you, Mr. Murr," Lola said. "Thank you for all of your help." "How did it go?" Lola's mother asked. "It was really, really good." Lola looked at the blank page in her hand. She didn't draw anything. Lola spent the rest of the night drawing the island. She started with one page, but she needed more room, so she added another page, and then another, and soon she had a book. She worked through dinner, and she worked in bed, and was just finishing the last touches on the cover when Abuela came in to check on her. Abuela picked up the final drawing of the final battle. She got really, really still. "Abuela, did you know about the monster?" "Of course, hija." Why do you think so many of us are here in the north? Lola put her arms around her abuela. You must have been so scared. Sometimes we were, her abuela whispered, but we were also very brave. The next day, it snowed. Lola put on her scarf and boots and stuffed her assignment under her coat. Bye, Mommy. Bye, Abuela. Bye, they both called. Good luck. Mr. Murr was pushing garbage against his cans against the curb. Thank you, Mr. Murr, slayer of monsters. He laughed. Good luck, Lola, daughter of heroes. In class, all the students were buzzing about their pictures. Nelson's mother had baked cupcakes for everyone, so it was like a little party. Miss Obie hung the drawings on the wall. Now our classroom has windows, she said. Anytime you want to look at one another's first homes, all you have to do is look at all of these windows. Then Mrs. Obie reached Lola's desk. So, how did it go, Lola? Were you able to remember anything? I tried really, really, really hard. But nothing came, and that made me feel really bad. But then I realized I don't have to feel bad even if I never set foot on the island. It doesn't matter. The island is me. Nelson snorted. That's kind of corny. No, it's not. Nelson, be nice, Miss Obie said. She and the other students gathered around Lola's desk. Nelson made sure he got really close so he could see everything. Lola suddenly got really nervous. Go ahead, Lola. Show us. Okay, Lola said, taking a deep breath. She opened up her book. And out burst the island. Wow. The end. That was a really special story. We're all from different places, and sometimes we remember them and sometimes we don't. Either way, the island or wherever you are from remembers you, and it's all right in here, right in your heart space. Let's take both of our hands, your right hand and your left hand, and place them over your heart. Take a big, loving breath in and out. And repeat after me. Ready? I belong. I belong. Next one. I matter. I matter. Reach your arms out as wide as you can. Give yourself a big, 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 big hug. Thank you for reading with me today, friends. Next time when we read, we'll be reading about a very special librarian who also came from a Hispanic heritage, who also has a Hispanic heritage background. Her name is Pura Belpre. There we go. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday and read with you. Bye, everyone. Thanks for reading with me today.